Well, hello, my fellow sensitive spirits. It is I, Whimsy, your favorite whimsical oracle, here to review some of the strange things that happened over the weekend. Hopefully, you had a great Memorial Day. I sat here and I listened to the festivities, and I pet my cat. Pet? Anyway. Mila and I are well, and as you can see, I have my old background here. Hopefully, the visuals are okay. Anyway, listen, folks, we got to talk. One of the things that I have said to you over and over again that I want to convey as a remote viewer is if people don't see the importance of trade routes, they don't, I would seriously doubt any remote view that they give you, because the only thing that the people in power care about is trade routes, increasing their GDP. you know um, there are certain people that have no future in the future economy, and there are certain people that are on thin ice. But the future economy is headed towards the Bedouin. It's headed towards the Abraham Accords, the celebration of the Abrahamic nations, the creation of this new caravan system that's going to be coming in, offering duty free trade, tolerance, hospitality, brotherhood, sisterhood, come and live and let live, kind of Dubai on steroids, right? A closed, protected trade route that is an oasis dedicated to the values of the Bedouins: protect the water, environmentalism, eco friendly tourism, care for the needy, so friendly jobs, housing, etc. So good workers' rights. These are the things you want to see in an oasis. So all of these things are going on, and the people heading that are MBS, the Prince of Saudi Arabia, the Prince of United Arab Emirates, hailing in this new vision. And Putin has to go because Putin has proven that he is not a reliable partner for trade routes. He has blocked trade routes. He has created problems and sanctions that have caused the millionaires and the billionaires and the heads of countries to be deeply dismayed because they can't get their trade out and their GDP is falling, not just here in the United States. It's a war when it goes on for a long period of time. You can see inflation. People have to do rations. You don't get butter because the troops get the butter and they get the meat, and everybody else has to live on margarine, right? And bread and margarine, right? So none the powers that be want trade. Putin wanted trade, but his actions did the opposite. It destroyed his trade. It He was someone that was going to take over the world. He was the megalomaniac that thought that he was going to be the new Christ. Maybe got involved in drugs or something like that. But it became increasingly obvious to NATO and to the partners of the uh, Abraham Accords that Putin was not someone that they could do business with, that he was mentally unstable, that he didn't want peace. And so he is basically on borrowed time. It doesn't surprise me that we're hearing now that he took off in a helicopter, they had to flee because I had said they will march on Moscow. I saw the West going into Moscow, and now Trump is saying you better watch it or we're going into Moscow. What changed? What changed was that he's no longer a viable partner because of his own erratic behavior. So that is why Putin is gone. Netanyahu is gone for the same reason. There are people that feel that had they negotiated an exit for Hamas, that it could have happened much faster. Exit to a host country, Algeria, Libya, Qatar, in exchange for promises of a global rebuild, right? Oasis, etc., land expansion, which you would have gotten with programs like Oasis, right? Would have probably pacified them, particularly if they were paid to leave, right? So there are a lot of people, the hostages could have gotten released sooner. People who blame Netanyahu for the fact that so many hostages died because he wanted to drag things on rather than trying to get to a solution. Other people that say, no, you can't do a deal with Hamas, et cetera, et cetera. But regardless, the rift is there. It's real. And while on the one hand, Trump may support Israel because that he wants a future, he wants this deal, this new trade deal, that can still be done with a new prime minister. And I think that Russia is clearly seeing that it's not going to have its sanctions removed. Its oligarchs see that, and it's not going to be able to be a part of the Abraham Accords or any exciting new trade deals until it gets rid of Putin. And so, for that reason, there are people within his own party that are trying to take him out. I think, in fact, I think there was another attempt at the Duma, is that right? An attempted assassination of Putin as well. Not just, I mean, they are literally trying to kill him. He's Where's Waldo at this point. This is something that Putin couldn't have fathomed until, very, very recently. The last thing I would say in terms of the remotes is that we're entering into the time when it's the time of power for the Bedouins who have, and the mystical aspects of Bedouin culture, which existed before fundamentalist Islam. They used to worship the pregnant female deities, the Bedouins, and the water. They had water spirits. And oops, one of my lights went out. They had water spirits and worshiping of the water spirits. And this belief in protecting the oasis so that women, sorry, I'm just going to see if I can put this light back in. Women represent the oasis and men are the protectors of women, right? So a man's job is to create this protective space so that women can raise children, and so that these spaces can become fertile. And that fertile relationship is the creation of new biodiversity, which we see in North Africa, when instead of destroying the ecosystem of the desert, we see that new oases are formed. When human beings go into these areas, they begin planting, creating biodiversity, bringing in new bird species, etc. And so the history of the Bedouin in these areas, these nomadic peoples, is one of not of the more you love the earth, the more the earth returns that love back to you. And it's a different relationship with the earth that we've forgotten, that the ancient Bedouins, the pre-Islamic Bedouins, are coming back. That soul is coming back to us from North Africa, from that part of the world, parts of Iraq, North Africa, Saudi, these nomadic peoples, all the way into Beersheba, the Negev. We see these beautiful nomadic people that knew how to feel the signs, listen to the signs, and go with the flow, as they say, the most ancient healers, artists, and environmentalists. So the new 21st century version of that is being born. Making Bedouins cool again, right? Yeah. So everybody's going to want to go to the oasis, and they're going to want to go to these trade hubs, and they're going to want that duty free car, and they're going to want to ride the loopy loop and stay at the 5-star hotel and try the delicious Bedouin food, which is the best in the world, and the hospitality, and the stuff that gets buried underground and then they dig it up. This is and listening to Bedouin folk stories and the dancing, and you're never going to want to leave these places, right? So that's the future. The future is peace, and caring for the earth is the blessing of the earth, and the earth will bless us back. This is the ancient wisdom that's returning back to us. And that Europeans and the colonialism of Europeanism, right? All of that crazy stuff. It's going to be very humbling for them when these desert folk, these Bedouin rise up, these Sufi rise up, people that have been dispersed or not even noticed from remote parts of the desert, etc. And their spiritual song contributes in a way that very much saves the world. And it's expressed, one of the ways that it's expressed is with these new trade routes. It goes back to this idea of, what do the powers that be want? They want trade. They want open trade, and anyone who prevents that from happening has to go, which means Netanyahu has to go, Putin has to go. In terms of Trump, I just don't have the energy. Every time I try as a heart-centered remote viewer to be Trump, I don't have the physical energy to be Trump, which I feel as if I check out. I check out more and more and more and more and more. Could that be sundowning, or is it just that I'm getting older? I don't know, but I think it's good that he goes out, walks around, and does golf because he gets fresh air, etc. But I just don't feel good as him for long periods of time. And I think his time of being able to work is going to be less and less throughout the day. And that may mean having to either, I don't know if I'm necessarily saying he's going to leave. I don't know if he up and right wants to abandon the job so much as they need to allocate more work. I don't know. That's kind of, but there's a checking out, I feel, from Trump. And I do not feel that he's going to save Putin. All right. I want to thank you for listening to this remote view. If you'd like to come in for a tarot reading with me, you can book it directly below, and I call you on the phone. If you are outside the country, then you call me through the WhatsApp. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.